Well, hello there, Scouters Mountain families, and especially all of you kindergarten families. Welcome to virtual kindergarten orientation. We're so excited to see all of you in just about a week or so. Now, we won't see you in person, that's for sure, but we will see you in the beauty of technology and on computer screens and get to know you better and better each day. We're very excited to have you join our school and to have you become Coyotes. My name is Curtis Long, Mr. Long, the principal here, and I've got lots to talk to you about, and I have some special guests with me, including our kindergarten teachers who will be leading your classrooms coming up here in about another week. And we'll get to meet our school counselor and some very important other people like our school secretaries who you'll meet quite often too when we come back to school. But for now, we're in front of the computer and let's get started and teach you all about what to expect here in kindergarten at Scouters Mountain Elementary School. We'll move right ahead here. And just so you know, as I'm presenting this presentation, our kindergarten teachers and our secretaries and our counselor, they are standing by. You're going to see them right where my head is right now talking to you, right here. Do you see me? They're going to pop up on the screen when I ask them to. It's kind of magical that way, so you'll see that. But I want to tell you a little bit about our school. So some information about Scouters Mountain Elementary. We're starting this year with about 350 students in our school, and we're getting bigger and bigger. That's because, as a lot of you know, a lot of construction in our area, a lot of home building, and those all come to our school. So expect that 350 to grow throughout the next couple of years. We're going to be right back up where we were before that nearby school, Beatrice Morrow Kennedy, opened, and it took about 250 of our students last year. That helped with this community and the expansion of this community. But we're going to grow right back up to where we used to be before that school opened. Bullet point number 2, you'll see that currently we have about 58 kindergarten students, and that keeps going up too. Now, that's important information because if you do the math, and parents, you could probably figure that out, and even some of our kindergartners can probably figure that out. You divide 58 in half, that's 29 kids per classroom. That's too big for a kindergarten classroom. So here's a little secret that we're working on right now as we record this presentation. We have 2 kindergarten classrooms now and 2 kindergarten teachers. We are very likely by the first day of school going to add a 3rd kindergarten classroom and a 3rd kindergarten teacher, which is wonderful news for us. That means that your students will be in a classroom with fewer peers, which means they get more individualized attention, even virtually. So the classrooms will go from 29 students each to about 21 students each. At least that's where we are now. So although you won't meet that 3rd kindergarten teacher during this presentation, that person is likely coming, and we'll make sure you get all the information you need about that person as soon as we have him or her in the right place exactly added to our team. So that's some information for you. As we move ahead, here's 2 of the most important faces that you're going to want to meet. Those are our 2 kindergarten teachers right now. There's Miss Lawrence and Mrs. Wheeler. And let's see how this works. Miss Lawrence, are you there?
Hi, everybody. I can't wait for the year to start. I'm super excited to meet you.
There she is there. And Mrs. Wheeler, are you there somewhere?
Of course I'm here. And this is my friend Paul, the postman. He's here too.
Oh.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, excellent. So Paul, the postman, joining. Let's move ahead to some other special friends at our school. And these are 2 people that you will meet quite often, especially when we come back to school in person. But if your families have been calling school, these are usually the friendly voices on the other end of the phone line. Mrs. Zach and Mrs. E, are you there?
Hi, yes. Hi, we are here.
There's our 2 secretaries. They can answer lots of your questions. They will explain a little bit more about some things that you might need to turn into the office before we get started for kindergarten. We'll go over those a little bit later in the presentation. Some other important people you need to know. Now, that guy on the left, forget about him. He talks a lot and really kind of tune him out. No, not really. That's me. I'm Mr. Long, the principal. I'm very excited to be here. This will be my 3rd year at Scouters Mountain Elementary. I'm very lucky to be here with a wonderful group of teachers and especially a wonderful group of kindergarten teachers. But I certainly want to introduce another special person at our school, and that's Mrs. Bell, our school counselor. Mrs. Bell, are you there?
I'm here. Thanks so
There
much.
she is. Mrs. Bell, tell us a little bit about how you help our kindergarten students.
I have a really great job. I get to be the school counselor. So I'm kind of like the school helper. And one thing I do is I go to the kindergarten classrooms, and I'll probably be coming to your classrooms online. I teach lessons about how to get along with people. And I have a friend here named Kelso, my puppet. And Kelso comes and he teaches 9 different ways to make friends and get along with your friends. And I also teach lessons about safety, and I do small groups. And I'm super excited that all of you kindergartners are going to be coming, and I look forward to meeting you. And if there's anything that I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to call or email me. I'm happy to help you in any way that I can.
Oh, and it's so great to see Mrs. Bell and all of our teachers after a summer, and Kelso too. I didn't know he would be appearing, but Kelso plays a big role in kindergarten classrooms as well. So thank you, Mrs. Bell. Let's get back to our 2 teachers. So there's Miss Lawrence and Mrs. Wheeler. I don't know if you 2 have anything that you would like to say as we get started with our presentation, anything maybe our family should know about each of you. Miss Lawrence, how about you to start?
Something special about me. I have a very special friend that I did not bring to this video, but his name is Owlbert, so you will be meeting him. I just wanted to say that normally at the beginning of the school year, we would do something called gradual entry, where your child would come for a few hours during that first week and meet us, and we would use, after we'd met everyone, then we would use our knowledge of our new friends to create balanced classes. But because we don't have that luxury right now, we are going to be meeting you virtually. So you will know which class your child will be in by Friday the 11th.
Good point. Mrs. Wheeler, anything to add?
Well, what I would like to say is to the kids and to the families that are going to be in kindergarten, and their parents, their people that are supporting them online with online kindergarten, I wanted to tell you that if you're a little bit nervous about kindergarten and you're not really sure what's going to happen, join the club, because all the teachers and even Mr. Long and Mrs. Bell, it's new to them too. So we're all going into a new way of learning. But what I wanted to tell you about that will be the same online as it is if you were coming into the classrooms, like you will be one day and we're not sure when. I wanted to tell you that almost every person in kindergarten is kindergarten. And the reason is because of other kids at school that are their same age, and because there are so many great books that you get to hear about when you are in kindergarten. And I was thinking that even though we're going to be online, we can still have those things. We will still have classmates. We will still know what other people look like in our class and hear about their ideas. And we'll still get to hear really cool books every day in kindergarten. So those are 2 things you can be sure of, even though a lot of things are uncertain now.
Very good points, Mrs. Wheeler. And one of my favorite places to visit, and I'll probably be popping into your virtual classrooms as well. Kindergarten books are some of my favorite to listen to. In fact, we're going to preview one at the end of this presentation. So stick around toward the end. We'll show you one of those books. So there are your 2 teachers so far, Miss Lawrence and Mrs. Wheeler. Now, remember I said there will very, very likely be a 3rd one, and we'll get you information about that person as soon as we know it. But what we want to talk about now is school at home. How in the world does that look? It's called Comprehensive Distance Learning, or CDL. You'll know that acronym. And CDL, as you can see over to the left, and I'm not going to read this whole thing to you, but the thing you need to know about comprehensive distance learning and how it will work for kindergarten are there are 2 fancy words. And kindergartners, if you're watching this, don't worry. You don't have to spell these words, and you really don't even have to say these words, but they're big words for kindergartners. In fact, they're big words for adults. And the first word is synchronous. That means some lessons which are synchronous are going to be live. That means the teacher or the assistant or even me or Mrs. Bell will be talking to you over the computer, and you'll be able to talk back. That's called synchronous video. The other one is called asynchronous. That means, like this thing, you can't talk to me right now. I can't hear you because this is recorded. So you will have some lessons that are recorded ahead of time where Mrs. Bell or Mrs. Wheeler or Miss Lawrence have recorded something ahead of time and asked you to watch it. So during our distance learning time, you will have some synchronous, which is live, and some asynchronous, which is recorded. They'll be mixed together and you'll get a schedule of when all of these things are going to happen. Now, there's a lot of other bullet points on this screen, and I could sit and read all of them to you. I don't want to do that. If you would like to pause the video right now and look at those yourselves, you can. But I think Miss Lawrence, you wanted to add a little bit about this.
Yes, so if you have a chance to pause the video and read through all of these bullets, you'll notice that it says approximately 2 hours and 20 minutes of instruction each day. What we're thinking for kindergarten is it will not start at 2 hours and 20 minutes. We will slowly build up to that because we know that our youngest friends are still building their stamina for sitting still and focusing on things. In addition, you may have heard Mr. Long talk about synchronous and asynchronous learning. There will be at least one synchronous lesson each day that we will meet live for. But depending on your individual family's schedule, that might not work out for you. So those will be recorded and you can watch those. Of course, we would love to have each student present live and meet them each day, but we know that that might not be feasible for your family.
Oh, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Miss Lawrence, because I don't want to give the impression that we absolutely have to have you on the computer at a certain time. We know that every family is doing their absolute best during the situation. Make sure it's recorded, and make sure you can get that lesson on your own time. As we move ahead, you may be wondering, what are some things that my kindergartner should be able to do, or at least we would like them to be able to do, not only now, but especially when we return to the building, whenever that may be. And you can see a long list here. And again, you can pause the video and take a look at these. But these are all things that we hope that your kindergartner is either working on now or can do right now in order to participate in kindergarten. Now, it doesn't mean they have to. If they struggle with some of these, it's okay. That's why they're coming to kindergarten. We're going to work with them on that. So here's some ideas of things to get kindergarten ready. And I'll turn it over to our teachers again. Is there anything that we want to be sure to touch on before we move on to the next slide?
I think this is a great list. One of the things we definitely foster in kindergarten is independence. And if you are still wondering or, looking at this list and thinking, wow, my child can't really do some of those things, you get another 2 months at home. We'll let you guys stay at home for 2 more months to practice these. That's
right. You still get a chance to practice them for sure.
And I'd just add that we would tell this to you in person if it were a normal school year, but these are just goals. So these are in development. Don't worry if they're having trouble with their zipper. As long as we're working on it, I would say that the overarching goal is for your child to be as much as possible in charge of their own behavior, belongings, to be a self-manager. And of course, they're just learning that, and not all people will have all of these skills every day, but that's what we're working toward.
That's what we're working toward. And again, as we've said before, we don't know when we will be coming back to a live kindergarten classroom, when you get to come to our school, but we want to be ready when that is. So we hope it is sooner rather than later, and we'll of course keep you updated on that. Here's some things, and you could pause the video too here if you would like to, on sometimes parents are concerned. I know my student is coming to kindergarten and they don't quite know how to read. That's okay. That's why they're coming to kindergarten. We love to teach reading skills, and we'll be teaching them even virtually on the computer skills and how to build better readers. So here's a graphic that you can look at your own time about how to build readers in your home, and when we send them to school, they'll be much better readers if we can follow along to some of those things. But again, if your child is not at this level, isn't interested in some of these things, that's okay. We'll take them. We can't wait to meet them and work with them for sure. So some academic skills. What are some things you may be wondering that my kindergartner should be able to do, or what do you want them to be able to do in kindergarten? Again, here is a long list. And I'm going to turn this over to our kindergarten teachers just again for a brief, if there's anything they'd like to add to this or say about these. Now, again, we don't expect every single kindergartner to know how to do this. And we recognize that some of our kindergartners will come into school with, if not all, most of these skills already mastered. Well, we're going to take them even further and do some advanced activities with them. But it's okay. Wherever your kindergartner is right now, that's where we take them, and we can't wait to have them join us. But kindergarten teachers, anything you'd like to say about this slide? Doesn't sound like it.
I just want to say, if they're practicing writing their name, only have one capital letter at the beginning.
No, I forgot about that rule for sure in Mrs. Wheeler's room. Yeah, only a capital at the beginning, and then we'll work on those lowercase letters too. But we will work on all of those kind of things. We'll work on them in virtual learning, and we'll work on them in person when we come to school. Oh my goodness, who in the world is that guy? He is a strange-looking guy with a strange-looking smile. For those of you that have siblings at school, maybe you've heard about this guy, Zero the Hero. Oh, that hairdo. That guy is a pain in my side. He shows up to school and visits kindergarten classrooms without permission, I'll say. He visits kindergarten rooms on every day that ends in a 0. So the 10th day, the 20th day, the 30th day. And I'm going to bet, even though Mrs. Wheeler and Miss Lawrence may not like this, I'm going to bet he pops in even on the 10th day on your computer screen as well to make sure that you can count to 10 or count by tens.
Oh my gosh.
See if 0 shows up. So I don't know, Mrs. Wheeler, I know you get kind of excited when 0 shows up in your classroom. Miss Lawrence, he kind of startles you sometimes. So who knows what's going to happen with 0 the Hero. We'll move along. What does our classroom look like, at least when we get there? What would it look like? Now, this is a great picture, but it's a little deceiving because look how crowded that is in there. That's actually both of our kindergarten classrooms interacting with each other at one time. And Miss Lawrence, that's you in the background. What's happening in this picture?
Well, if you'll notice, there are a lot of students in this picture because Mrs. Wheeler's class came to visit us and do a parade through our classroom for the Lunar New Year. So that's why they're wearing those fun animal masks. I think they show the animal of the year they were born in the Chinese calendar. So that was an exciting day.
Yeah, look at that. There's all kinds of kindergartners in one room, and you'll notice a lot of them wearing their green Scouters Mountain shirt. We will do our best. We provide those for every single new Scouter student. I don't know yet how that's going to work.
This was our Force and Motion science investigation. We built cars out of recycled materials, and here we are testing to see how far they can go.
Oh, how much fun would that be? And we'll be able to try. We're going to do our very best to have some hands-on activities during virtual learning as well. So you'll get more details on that. And we promise it won't all be staring at a screen for your lessons. We're going to try to get kids for sure up and moving and doing some hands-on activities like that. And Mrs. Wheeler, this is happening in your classroom. Notice the kids on the carpet, so we don't sit at our seats all the time at a desk or at a table. These are kids visiting with each other in the classroom on the carpet. And what's going on here in your classroom?
Well, this is a good picture because it shows a parent in our class who's come in to talk to the kids about his job. We were studying community and community workers, and you can see the kids are very interested to hear about the parent telling about why his job is important in the community.
Absolutely.
This
We
picture
sure love
makes
having
me a little
parents
bit
visit.
sad because the kids are so close to each other, and I hope one day that our kids will be able to be close to one another too.
We will get to that time again, I'm sure. We don't know when that will be, but we will certainly get there, and we certainly appreciate that parents volunteering. There won't be as many opportunities, obviously, to volunteer at the beginning of the year, but as we get back into school, we'll increase those opportunities for parents to volunteer and be a part of your child's classroom for sure. As we move along, these are two more things happening. This looks like in Miss Lawrence's room, where a student is showing how he can read the board. And Miss Lawrence, this might be a good thing for kindergartners to do at home, where they find words around their house, just like they're finding words around your classroom and reading them out loud.
Yeah, so I put these pictures up as examples of things that we do in the class you could easily do at home. And you'll notice the student on the right is using their computer to read a book, just like we do at school. So we'll be doing these activities.
Looking forward to that. And that's a great way that you can transfer kindergarten skills to home and practice at home at the same time. Well, how do you reach these wonderful teachers? Now, again, we don't know which classroom you're going to be in quite yet. And we likely will have a third kindergarten teacher that we'll need to add to this presentation. But as of right now, there's Miss Lawrence on the top, Mrs. Wheeler down below. There's their phone numbers directly to their classroom and their email addresses in case you need to get a hold of them or would like to get a hold of them after viewing this video. So you could pause the video and write those down, but those are right there. So there's two important people to get a hold of. What if you need to get a hold of the office? This is important as well. There's the main number right there. There's Mrs. Zach and Mrs. E, and we'll turn it over to them for just a second if there's anything they want to add that you may want to know from the office.
Well, I just want to say hi, friends and families. We are so excited to get to meet you. And even though we can't be together in person, we are here to help. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to call the office. And either myself or Mrs. Eichhoff are happy to help you.
And I wanted to add, if you have any questions about enrollment, you can always call the office. And I will be contacting families with information that they are missing on their registration. Can't wait to see everyone or talk to you.
Yeah, we'll make sure that we get that information to you. And kindergartners, if you're a little nervous because it's going to be your first day in a new classroom, guess what? This is Mrs. E's first day it's her first year in that seat up front in the office. She used to be out on the playground with kids, and now she's up in the office. So she's learning all kinds of new stuff too. You can be new students together. Mrs. E's up front as well. As we move on, if you need to get a hold of Mrs. Bell or of me, there's me on the bottom. Mrs. Bell's right there. Mrs. Bell, anything to add as we put up your school phone number there?
Feel free to call, even though I'm not at the office. The messages will come on my computer. So if you leave me a message on my school phone number, I will automatically get that message on my computer.
And the same thing happens for me. I will get those if I'm not at school, but unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I'm at school most of the time. So if any questions come up, that is my direct line. The number at the very top, the bigger one, is the main office line. And if you want to just call me directly in my office, there's the number right there. So you can write those down as helpful tips for you. What should we be doing right now? If we have a kindergartner who's ready to start kindergarten in, about a week or so, here are some things that our kindergarten teachers put together, and I'll turn it over to them about things you could be doing right now with your kindergartner at home.
Yes, so we all know that routines take some time to build, and I, for one, have started to go to bed on time this week so that when I start school, I'm already doing that good routine and my body is used to it. We know that research shows the best indicator of early reading is to read to your child every day. So we recommend, if you don't already have that routine at home, starting that. Also for online at-home learning, if you have a spot in your house that you would like to dedicate to your child's workspace just for school, that will help them get in the mindset. If you don't have a spot set up just for that, like for instance, I use my dining room table, you can start to gather all of the school supplies into one bin or container or basket that child has access to each day, and just using those supplies for school so that if they're doing side art projects, you don't have to worry about any of those supplies walking away and not being available during school time. Enjoy the rest of summer, get outside, have some fun, and we are so excited to see you soon.
We certainly are. Can't wait to see them. So now, what happens before September 8th? The first day of school is officially September 8th. So let me go through really quickly what's going to happen before then. So your child will be assigned a kindergarten classroom probably early next week. Now remember, as I've said all along, likely it's going to be 3 different teachers. We will assign a kindergarten classroom to you, and then you'll hear from that teacher or from me, or probably both of us, before the first day of school. We'll have all the details about when and where and how you log in. If you need any special code or any special website that we go to, we'll tell you all about that before the first day of school on September 8th. Also, and Ms. Lawrence mentioned this earlier, please do not worry about having to do lots of heavy-duty reading or math right off the bat on the first day of school. We're not going to do a whole lot of that. That first week will be a lot more of getting to know each other activities, and it may be that your whole classroom won't be on at the same time. We'll meet with kids in smaller groups or maybe even individually with families as we get to know you and make sure that everybody knows how to access everything and everybody understands what they need to be successful in this online learning. And on the very last point, I want to make sure that all of you know this. We have never started a school year like this one before online. Nobody ever has done this. This is the first time for Miss Lawrence and Miss Wheeler. It's the first time for our counselor. It's the first time for our secretaries. It's the first time for me. We've never done this before. So families, we're going to learn together. There's going to be things that work really well. And there's probably going to be a few things that after we try them out, say, that's not working so well. We're going to switch course. And that's fine. We hope that you'll give us some grace and have some flexibility during these times because we're all learning together. Okay. How do we stay connected with our community? Perhaps if you're already registered, you're receiving emails from me. I hope you are. You'll have an opportunity to join our PTA. There'll be more information coming soon. We couldn't do a lot of the things we do at our school without our generous PTA who does fundraisers and then uses that money to help fund things, fun activities here at school. Keep that school website handy. There's the address right there. It's pretty easy. And you can find us on Facebook in a couple of different locations. There's a Scouters Mountain Elementary Facebook page that I post things in quite a bit. There's also one that's just made for Scouters Mountain families. So if families have some questions or maybe you're trying to get a after school get together or questions about what's going on in school that you may have missed, that's a good place to look as well. That's a private group, not managed by the school. That is managed by some families in our area. So there's two different areas of Facebook that you can access. And then also, as I mentioned before, you'll receive lots of automated emails and calls and eventually texts as well from the school. Most of the time, those are generated by me, but not all the time. But most of the time, you'll see me as the return address on those, and you're always welcome to reply to those. Those replies go straight to me. Okay, we usually end our orientations, if we were in person, with a story. Now, we don't have time to read a whole story to you. You've been sitting in front of this presentation for a long time, but I want to introduce you to this great story that we like to read on the first day of school. In fact, I hear that you're going to be hearing this story, the entire story, from front to back, when we meet together during that first week of school. But it's called The Day You Begin, and all I'm going to show is the first page and the last page to give you a little glimpse of what you'll see during that first week of school. And it says here, here's the first page. It says, there will be times when you walk into a room and no one there is quite like you. So on next week, when you log into your computer screen, you are going to see lots of new classmates who you've probably never met before. And a lot of them are not going to look just like you. And that is part of that's, in my opinion, one of the best things about kindergarten. You're going to meet new friends who don't look like you or maybe don't necessarily like the same things. But the best part about kindergarten is you become friends with those people and learn all about other people. So that's on the first page. And you can guess that our main character there, when she goes through her day, her first day of kindergarten, she gets to learn all these things and learn about her classmates. And at the very end, here's the last page. Look at, she's made a new friend who she's swinging with. And it says, this is the day you begin to find the places inside your laughter and your lunches, your books, your travel, and your stories, where every new friend has something a little like you and something else so fabulously not like you at all. That's one of the best things about kindergarten is you're going to meet all kinds of new friends. Some have things in common with you and like the same things. Some you're going to learn have things that you never even thought about that would be fun to explore together and learn about together. And you're going to meet lots of new friends, even as we start out on a computer. I promise about that. We are so glad you are a Scouters Mountain Coyote. Thank you for tuning in to this presentation. Again, if you have any questions, there's the number right there. There's my direct email. You can always email me with any questions, and we will see you right on September 8th. You'll hear from us before then. We'll give you all the details about logging in. Before we go, all right, so we have all our secretaries, our counselor, and our 2 teachers here. Is there anything anybody would like to say before we say goodbye to our future kindergartners and wrap this up?
We're looking forward to meeting you.
I knew Mrs. Wheeler would chime in there. We are looking forward to meeting all of you. Thank you for tuning into this presentation. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to call the number on the screen or email any of the people you've met today. Welcome to Scouters Mountain Kindergarten families. We can't wait to see you soon.